Okay, he's got poison. Oh, I'm taking damage. He's got mechanics. I have to watch out where he's standing. Get him, Sanctuary Warrior. Am I allowed to have more than one of you? Yes, get them. Get them. Get the stench beast. Make him put some deodorant on. Don't bring your foul order around me, you stench beast of the blood throne. Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to the Cardboard Cooperative. This is your host Magna, and today we will be taking the first bite out of Shadow Dungeon. Shadow Dungeon is an ARPG inspired game that also seems to be taking some elements from Survivor style roguelites, in that the combinations of things that you can do and create as far as powers go seems to be quite immense. The Steam description boasts that there's over 100 million items in the game, so we're going to have to see if that's true or not. I am going to go ahead and name my character Magna, and we will jump in with a ranger. Let's go ahead and play this character and see what happens. This game is available as a demo with no further planned updates until the full release, according to the Steam page. If you guys have any interest in this game, I will go ahead and leave a link in the description below. This is very... I'm getting Flash game vibes from this. Like early 2000s... 2010s 2D Flash games, which isn't a bad thing. This is I do like me a good nostalgia trip. New here, Magna. This is the Shadow Dungeon. Remember the name. First, get used to movement. Use WASD on keyboard and mouse, or the left stick on the controller. Oh, controller support. Awesome. This is your skill and item bar. Select any slot and assign a skill or item. It's best to prepare before combat. In gamepad mode, you can use a virtual cursor. If the controls don't feel right, you can adjust bindings in the settings. It's actually really great that the game is telling us that from the start, that we are able to rebind keys. Absolutely fantastic. Press Q to open the talent tree. You can strengthen your abilities here. Press E for your inventory. Manage your equipment there. Press R to... Okay, not so great that we're getting a text dump here. Since it's your first time here, I prepared some supplies. Take them. Whoa, okay, that was a lot of stuff that just dropped and got auto picked up. Don't save your potions, use them when needed. If you can't hold on, retreat and use a return scroll to resupply. On your right is the storage. It's shared across all saves. Anything you store can be used for later. Ahead is a merchant. All right, if we could go ahead and make this a little less text dumpy, that would be fantastic. That's about it. When you're ready, use the teleport circle to begin your journey. I'll be waiting in the hub for good news. What is our journey? Why are we here? Press E. That's a lot of inventory space. All right, let's go ahead and buy some equipment, or not. We have no money. I'm not really sure why the game told us that we needed to go visit the merchant before we got started, but here we are. Let's go ahead and move into the first area, into chapters 1 through 7. Old waypoint system. Not quite an isometric RPG, since it is flat on the screen, so this is closer to just a 2D experience. How am I meant to fight? Do I empty click to set a skill? I have one skill point. What am I guess I put the skill point into razor arrow. It's the only thing I can do. Okay, kind of strange that's not just automatically unlocked and set to the skill bar as the first thing, but I guess we have to start somewhere. A gem processing table. I'm seeing a food thing back here. I wonder they're planning to introduce some sort of food market buff thing in the background there. And then also very Diablo-esque red and blue orbs to denote MP and HP. Not really close to an ARPG from my perspective as far as weight and damage numbers go. This feels more like a survivor game, especially with all of the mobs on the screen and the auto pickup stuff like that. So we'll see whether or not this is more or less like a true ARPG, or if it's just a much faster paced one. As far as pretty fast paced ARPGs go, Diablo 4 is kind of the king in that regard. Maybe Path of Exile when you get to endgame. Magic Mastery. All of that font is very, very small and difficult to read. Is there a setting to increase the interface? Autosave interval, cursor size, map size, damage numbers, game sensitivity, size of damage numbers. There's nothing to be able to increase the size of font under those enemy names though. But looking at the trailer for this game, it does look like I will be shooting off like 5 billion spells at a time, so I am less worried about my overall being able to see what kind of damage these things are doing to me, and more about how quickly I'm destroying them. As you can see, there's quite a lot of mobs on the screen. There's a goblin skull? Okay. I guess non-weapon items are auto picked up. Okay, that's fine. We auto picked up all of those consumables. I just kind of assumed we were going to be auto picking everything up. Let's go ahead and assign these skill bars. Wait, how do I assign potions? Z, X, and C. Put a town portal back down there. So far, so good. It's not I like the animations for these creatures. I do like the old school. They're not quite low poly, but it's before the age of HD, if you know what I mean. This does really remind me of stuff that you would play on Congregate or Newgrounds, those old school Flash games that were good for their time. Very simplistic combat so far, so I'm hoping that a few level ups will give us some pretty interesting juice to be able to work with here. As of right now, I'm basically just auto attacking. And it looks like, oh, are these the specializations? A high elf, a doomsday disciple, or a windwalker? Whoa, okay, I'm being shot at. Hold on. Guys, calm down. I need to look at my skills. Rapid fire. A passive increases attack speed. Okay. Go ahead and increase our attack speed. I see the damage numbers. I see that I'm getting hit. My HP bar is not moving. Oh, is this the mini boss? Dreaded Ogre. Summoning Mastery, Death Strike, and Dead Strike, actually. Just gone. Picking up a lot of loot. This is going to be a very fast-paced game. If you enjoy your dopamine sensors going off every 3 seconds when you find new loot, this is definitely going to be the game for you. I'm a little confused as to why there's not a basic auto attack as opposed to a one that requires mana. But that's just how this is. Tome of the Magi. What does this do? It's a mage item. Never mind. So I guess I'll just keep these for the sake of having... All right. My biggest complaint right at this moment is how difficult it is to read this text. It is way too small for everything that's on the screen at the moment. So if there is a plan to continue to develop this game, can we make it so that we can increase the UI, please? The legibility of the text here is very difficult to read. And it's not like I'm on a small monitor or anything. It's just very small. Biggest complaint right at this moment. I don't have any issues with anything else that's going on outside of the fact that I am just holding down my left click at the moment. But that's how all ARPGs start. You just left click things to death. Other ARPGs usually just have you doing a basic attack for a few levels or basic skill for a little while. So no problems there. I'm sure it'll escalate very quickly once we get into the mid levels. Once we get to level 5, 6, have a little bit of extra stats underneath us. Do we have a character? Oh, I gained 2 more skill points. Do we have a character panel? That's not what I was looking for. What about you guys? What do you play ARPGs? What is your class of choice in your ARPG? I like things that swing big heavy weapons. Normally, I do like me the big bonk hammers, and volcanic fissure is my go-to skill choice in both Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2, because I'm insane and I like playing melee in ARPGs, even though melee is always inferior. You guys can debate me on that all you want, but I don't know any melee classes in an ARPG that is superior to a caster class. Maybe Smiter, specifically for the Ubers in Diablo 2. I've never played Diablo 1, so I can't speak on that experience. I didn't play Last Epoch enough to really know what the meta is there. Maybe Grim Dawn. Grim Dawn, the melee classes feel pretty good. mostly because a lot of the skills are melee based. 16 damage plus 3 damage. Gosh, this is difficult to read. I don't know if it's also just the text decision as well as the companion attack speed, treasure drop rate, lots of stats, lots of reading, lots of stats. Nothing wrong with it, but if you're going to have this much text on the screen, please make sure that your font is a legible, easy to read font, and not just the size of it either. There's something about the font choice that makes it really difficult to read. Maybe it's just my old man eyes and the fact that I am not young and spry and able to Hawkeye vision everything from 500 miles away anymore, but it's slightly hurting my eyes to read this text, and I can't explain what it is. But as I was saying, I can't think of any melee classes, any ARPGs where the melee classes have been dominant over either a range class or a spellcaster class. Please let me know if I'm wrong. I would love to know what ARPGs have a good character class for melee. I'm just insane and like to play melee in these style of games, but I figured I'd give it a change of pace and try out the ranger for once, so here we are. Summoner classes too are usually pretty powerful just because you don't have to worry about actually being the one taking any damage. Chip Sapphire can be socketed into the following equipment, basically everything. There's so much loot in this game, even just at whatever level I am. What level am I? I don't even know what level my character is. Is there a character? Holy crap, that's not great. It's functional. Now it just needs to be made pretty and legible. This is this character sheet is a little too hard to read. Maybe it's the fact that the text is yellow on the black background that makes it a little difficult to understand. I don't know. Is there anyone who can explain the scientifics as to why it is difficult for me to be able to read this text besides just old man eyes? I really hope I didn't just mess up my character here. It requires 9 skill points to unlock, so I've got 5 already. So are these specializations or just the skill trees? How does this work down here? It hasn't told me yet. Current level of 5. Oh, these are different skill trees. They're just straight up different skill trees. They're not specializations. Oh, cool. Lots of build diversity. I highly doubt that there is much reason for me to not just go up a single skill tree, but we'll see what happens as I build out my first character. Guys, if you're going to have a good time playing an ARPG, I do highly suggest that you find a person who knows how to play that ARPG first instead of doing your own character guide. But you know, I'm insane. Necromancer item, plus 15 damage. It doesn't seem like there are anything besides the affixes on these items to be able to tell me if they're stronger or weaker. This one has 3 sockets in it and has 13 damage with 2% attack speed and increased frost damage, but it has a 3rd socket. Even the arrows have sockets in them. That's kind of funny. This game really wants you to be able to customize your equipment. The Anima Stone does the exact same thing as the Harmonic Crystal, so it doesn't seem like there's many categories of item classes quite yet, which is fine. It is a demo. All right, I have a question. Is there going to be a cube? All right, so what does this all do? Sell epic items and below, sell rare items and below, magic items and below, superior, mythical, legendary. Okay, cool. Let's see what these chips do. Oh my gosh, this is... Bow gives me plus lightning damage. Arrow gives me lightning resistance, though. Okay. Let's do some... So am I not allowed to socket just anywhere? I have to be standing in a specific location. Let's see if this merchant's got anything for me. Let's buy some potions at $4,000. These arrows are expensive as heck. Let's not worry about buying equipment then. All of this equipment is quite expensive. And maybe let's take a second to look at our actual skill trees. I did not realize that these were skill trees. I thought these were some sort of specialization that I chose later in the game. Venomous arrow. So high elf is a poisoner. Doesn't look like there's a way for me to reset my skill trees either. So if I've messed up my build, I've messed up my build. We are going to go ahead and stick to the Windwalker specialization here. Or class, or whatever it is called. Gem processing table. Okay, so it's a 5-to-1 ratio, huh? Dismantle gem, select the weapon to dismantle. It's all functional, it just doesn't look very pretty yet. I'm sure they'll add some flair and beauty to it and make it look a little bit better in the long run. Let's... Can I socket? Does it have to be unequipped in order to be socketed? There we go. We have sockets in the weapon now. We have some extra damage. How do I open up my character sheet? Is there a quick button for that? Okay. 193 physical damage, fires 2 arrows per shot. Okay. We're fine. It's fine. Let's get back to the action. I need more AoE. Enemies are starting to pile up. Arcane shuttle staff and an enigmatic ring. Maybe I should make it so that I auto pick the stuff up. How do I set that up? And I can look at my loot later. I get 1 skill point. Longbow. Extra chance to fly through enemies. Launch a shuriken that bounces between enemies, bouncing up to 8 times. That sounds cool. A passive skill enhancing character attributes. Mono leech on kill. Let's try this lethal dart. That sounds pretty cool. It has a really long cooldown though. Alright, is there a way for me to be able to auto loot? Filter? Player auto pick up all items. Let's just pick up all items and we'll parse through them later. We'll go ahead and filter through them later, but I would rather just be able to continue walking instead of having to auto click or manually click on every piece of gear that we find. So just pick up everything and we'll look through them later when we get back to town when we have to reset our character. Okay, it's starting to get already a little bit wacky with our damage. I mean, we are wiping out mobs left and right. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you guys like a faster paced game, this might be the one for you when it finally becomes accessible as a full release. I want to be able to suggest it as a demo, but we'll see how it feels in a few more levels. I'm not having many problems with it so far, outside of the fact that it's difficult to read. I do like being able to just blast through enemies. I would like to know if there's an actual story going on. ARPGs usually have pretty epic stories that explain why you're having to deal with the forces of whatever abomination of the week you have got to take down. No, Path of Exile 2 has a pretty good story. I would like to know why I can't have the potions on 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. though. I can even have a skill on my spacebar. It's a lot of skills. All right, let's see. Anything interesting that I've picked up recently? More damage, more attack speed, more damage. Sure. Necromancer item not useful. Mage item not useful. More damage, more damage. I picked up a lot of bows. This one has lightning damage on it. This one has some lightning damage on it. There is a point, and I'm going to be honest about this. There is a point where the dopamine receptors do just shut off from being overwhelmed. A life temple. Isn't that just a shrine? Is that a permanent buff? Did I just permanently gain 915 health, or is it just for this chapter? How does that work? But there does come a point where you are picking up too much and the game becomes an inventory management simulator rather than an actual action RPG. It's cool that the game boasts that it has over 100 million guns, or sorry, 100 million items. Borderlands had over 100 million items as well. I believe it was a gazillion guns that they boasted. That didn't mean that every single one of them was meaningful, impactful, or mattered. And this is going to very quickly devolve into, I believe, I'm picking everything up in eyesight, which I'm sure I'll change in the auto pickup later to filter out some of these items that I don't need, some of the non-ranger class items. But even still, I feel like it's going to get to this point where it's a little bit too much in terms of raw. What is it? It looks like a waypoint in terms of raw loot. We have entered the Goblin Den. Would you say that this is a den of evil? But yeah, there does come a point where you are just inundated with items so much that stuff stops mattering. And I'm sure there will come a point here pretty soon where stuff will stop mattering. There is nothing wrong with having a lot of items, but when it becomes, oh, I'm just picking up this orange colored item because it's orange colored and I'm going to break it down for materials later. If you don't have a really good crafting system in which you need to have all of these different items or have really impactful, have high impact rarities, then it stops really being a benefit to have all of those items and starts becoming quite the hindrance. So we'll have to see if they're able to pull off that balance of having over 100 million items well. I feel like that's a little bit of a tall order for anyone to try and balance out 100 million items. More than 80% of those items, probably 95% of them, will not be used in any capacity, just because the top 5 to 2% of items are always just going to be better than the rest of the items below them, especially if the game does have a lot of class specific gear that it wants to have. We've entered the wasteland. This doesn't look like a wasteland. It's very verdant. It's very pretty. Have I leveled up at all? I didn't even notice that I'd leveled up. All right, let's take this so I can get multi-shot in a little bit. Have some more AoE. But this does feel more like a survivor style game with persistence rather than a strict ARPG, if I'm going to be entirely honest so far. With the lack of impact from enemies, I'm just kind of blasting them. Maybe it would make more impact if I was a melee class. I don't have a problem with it being basically a survivor game with persistence, but look at my loot already. Look at how much I have to read through here in a second. Let's go ahead and change this loot filter to pick up only things that are like, what is the rarity? Rare? Keep pressing the wrong button, so let's see. Rare and below. Okay, so let's change this loot filter real fast to move up to just pick up rare items. We'll go back to town really quickly. We'll sell anything that is below magic. We'll sell all magic items and below, and look strictly at our rares and above. You skill Razor Arrow has a chance to generate piercing elemental arrows. That's really cool. And a +1 skill to dart. Okay, that's pretty cool. Lethal dart hit enemy on hit, deal 20, has a 20% chance to generate a tornado, and gives me a +1 to Razor Arrow and longbow. That's pretty cool too, but it has no socket, so we're gonna get rid of that. Giant deer armor. Use skill venomous arrows, 20% chance to generate an energy arrow. I don't have venomous arrows, but I will take the increased damage and all of these other nice cool effects on it. And this one is the Razor Arrow with lethal darts as well. It has 1 extra socket on it, and slightly less crit chance, slightly more attack speed, slightly more damage overall. Do that. This has just more attack speed, health, treasure drop chance. Okay. Tree spirit boots, increased movement speed, companion movement speed, my own movement speed by 15%. Okay, cool. More attack speed. I do like attack speed. And sell that sword. Sort all pages. How much backpack space do I get? I'm a little worried now. Let's buy some more mana potions. Let's buy some more teleport scrolls. Let's grab some health potions. This amount of potions and the fact that there is a short cooldown between them without much reminds me of Eastern RPGs a little bit. Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Look at that. All right. If every single one of these weapons at rare and above starts having some really cool effects, I might be able to get behind the system of them having hundreds of millions of pieces of equipment. I will not lie about that. It's really cool to see these upgrades on this weapon already, as it were. But a lot of Eastern RPGs do like to use high health potion and mana potion counts and you just spamming skills left and right, which is a design choice that I don't have a personal problem with, but I know that a lot of people do, where it's just very low impact combat where you're just mowing down enemies left and right and spamming potions to be able to continue to spam skills left and right, which is all very flashy and good. But if you like a more impactful RPG, this style of game usually doesn't help you much, doesn't really do much for you, because there's not any weight behind the actions that you're taking on a moment-to-moment basis. So I'm not against the idea, as long as I am having fun, and I do have fun with just being able to blast enemies every now and again. I do want to know if these temples are... No, it doesn't seem that they're permanent, so I wonder how long they last for, because I don't... Oh, there's a buff counter right there. There it is. It's very difficult to see. Developer, please. I very much want to be able to read your game. It's a cool game. I just can't read it. The animations are really nice. They're very reminiscent of those old Flash games, which I absolutely loved as a kid. So this is right up my alley as far as nostalgia bait goes. I really love my survivor style games, and having a bit more permanence in them would be really cool outside of meta progression. So having something with like loot based mechanics makes my brain happy. Having to immediately go up to filtering out basically all items that are not rare or above does kind of minimize the impact of each of the loot, but hey, that's just the system that they've gone with. There's nothing wrong with it. Just be ready to see hundreds of thousands of items fill up your backpack way quicker than you might think you needed to, because I am not taking the time to read through every single non-magic item and every single magic if I can just go straight to rare. But yeah, survivor games are my style of games, my game of choice rather, my style of game of choice for when I really just need to turn my brain off and relax after a long day. So something that has a loot-based mechanic a la ARPG style without me having to worry about whether or not my build is functional at higher levels. And maybe the build won't be functional at higher levels, but my point being that it is nice that I can just mow down all of these enemies on the screen without having to worry about really deep mechanics and an insanely large skill tree and paragon points. And maybe there will be a meta that develops, but because this seems to be focused on a solo player experience, I don't have to worry about someone being able to rush to the end of a season and completely stop me from being able to enjoy the trading experience because I cannot generate the currency needed to be able to do trading. That was another thing that they put on their Steam page, was that the game is going to be about permanence and not so much seasonal content. So I'm not sure if they're working on a multiplayer function on it. I skimmed over the Steam page very, very quickly because it looked like a cool demo. And it was, I'm not sure if it had a Steam Next Fest demo or if this is just what I'm playing now, but it is cool so far. I am personally enjoying this. I do have a lot of fun just being able to blast enemies out of the water without having to worry about my build. Many times I have gone into character to mapping and Path of Exile only to realize that the build that I have created only just barely made it through the tutorial of Act 10 and it's definitely not going to make it through white maps, never mind any end game content. And then there have been times where I've been able to understand the deeper mechanics of a build, and I've completely blasted through Ubers and have been able to get to end game mapping. Unfortunately, I am not able to play at the speed that a lot of other players are able to do in those trade-based games. So once the economy starts to slip away from me, it gets very difficult to want to do any trading. But I'm not a big solo self-found person myself, just because I don't like to have to farm for materials. So maybe if this game doesn't have to worry too much about farming for straight materials to do your crafting. I don't know how much crafting is going to be in this game, but that was one thing that Path of Exile I feel fixed for me, was that they introduced the asynchronous shop, so I wouldn't have to worry about the trading experience as much, and I could just sell my items to make loot. Even if it was just a little bit, at least I was able to find my crafting materials. I picked up quite a lot of loot since the last time we went to shop, including a lot of arrows. So let's go ahead, or bows and arrows rather. So let's go ahead and take a look at those in a second here. And I do apologize if I'm talking a lot about other ARPGs, but it does bear comparison, just so you guys have an idea of where I'm coming from. What is your genre of choice to be able to relax with at the end of the day? Mine used to be ARPGs, and then I realized that I'm really bad at them 90% of the time, and it becomes frustrating to have spent a good deal of time on a build. I'm not a huge fan of looking at build guides myself, because I feel like I should be able to create... Yeah, if you're going to give me all of these options, I want there to be more than 3 viable ones for endgame content. And sometimes it is a skill issue, but I do feel like I should be able to craft something with this arsenal of tools that you've given me. So I'm not vehemently opposed to looking up a build guide, but I don't like starting off looking at somebody else's guides. That's just me, though. I know it's the improper way to play if you want to actually be able to have fun and get to the end game stuff in these ARPGs, but you know, it's just more fun to create your own thing and hope that it works. I have explained my love before about engine building in video games, and it's some of the things that make you feel the smartest and the dumbest, and I will continue to rehash that point, is that being able to make a really good build in an ARPG, you're gonna feel like a genius if it works, but man, when it fails, oh boy, when things go wrong for you in an ARPG, they really go wrong for you. I've gotten quite a few skill points. I've completely forgotten about the level up because I haven't needed to do anything in order to increase my character's power. I get a summon and a barrage. Let's go ahead and put these skills on. So what does multi-shot do? Increases the projectile count. I completely forgot that we even have any of these other skills. I may change it so that my skills are on Q, W, E, and I can't because I'm using ASW. RU, WASD controls. I'm so used to left click movement in these ARPGs and being able to use my... It's fine. Fine. It's good. It's fine. WASD movement is fine. Except for when I'm thinking about not pressing WASD and I think I'm going to press Q, W, E, R for my abilities, but I don't really know what else I can... I guess I can put them on space. I keep pressing Q for this ability. Oh no, help. It's even funnier because I got used to WASD movement in Path of Exile. I'm just using 1, 2, 3, 4 as my skills for that game, so I shouldn't really have that much trouble with this one. I'm not going to say that this game feels empty, but it's not... I don't have much of a reason to continue outside of wanting to see the cool endgame stuff. I'd like to know if there's a story that's going to be written at some point, if there's a reason for all of this stuff, and why everything is just kind of in a straight line with slight turns. It's not like there's a big impactful map like Diablo 2, It's not like there's a whole lot of hidden areas or anything. This again bears resemblance to a survivor style game in that regard. It's also the fact that I forgot that I even have skills that I can level up is not a great sign for the difficulty of this game, which I'm sure it's not meant to be a difficult game, but the fact that I just completely forgot I'm supposed to level my character up at all. Oops, but then I haven't needed to because this basic skill has been able to carry me pretty gosh darn far into this run already. I mean, I've got to be getting close to an ending here on chapter 1, right? What level is my character even? It is level 11. Okay, don't have any more skill points yet. It's fine. Do you guys like having stories in your ARPGs? I appreciate having an excuse for why we are doing what we are doing. I don't mind having a story. But yeah, not even having a reason for what's going on is a little strange. Not that you always need to, but I would have liked some explanation for what is going on and why we're walking down these tunnels and dealing with these monsters. Those do not look like worms. Those are flying weird gargoyle things. All right, we're feeling real powerful though. All right, leveled up again. Let's level up Sanctuary Warrior. Sure, we'll go ahead and get a summon here. Look at that. Oh gosh, I keep pressing Q. What am I doing? Shark tooth arrows. I love those things. All right, we have a lot of items that we've already picked up. Let's go ahead and take a second to look through our loot here. Let's organize our page. At least the organization seems to be pretty decent. Increased lightning damage, cluster cannon. I don't have cluster cannon. When I use a barrage, I have a 40% chance to generate a sweeping arrow rain. Cool. Plague arrow. I'm not even going to bother looking at things that aren't my skills. We don't need to know about those non-things. Those skills that I didn't choose, those don't matter. All right, I don't need any of those necromancer items. This is a better helmet than what I had on. There's something attacking me. King's arrow. Oh, that's pretty cool. I do like the fact that each of the weapons has, at least at the rare and higher, seems to have some sort of affix or inherent ability. I can't remember what those are called. Some sort of passive that gives your other build choices importance. Of course, that does mean that I will be locked into having one or two very specific types of equipment here pretty soon, I'm sure, since it looks like it helps to diversify the specializations so that it doesn't feel like one specialization is the valid one. We'll have to see how that works out. And we are all right. Boss fight time. I hear boss fight music. Surely there's a boss fight in here. That we're even in an enclosed space. Oh, a purple item. Too bad it looks like a coda. Stench Beast Elgo is what is this, Bloodborne? Okay, he's got poison. Oh, I'm taking damage. He's got mechanics. I have to watch out where he's standing. Get him, Sanctuary Warrior. Am I allowed to have more than one of you? Yes, get them. Get them. Get the Stench Beast. Make him put some deodorant on. Don't bring your foul order around me, you Stench Beast of the Blood Throne. Okay. Okay, some chests in the back. Okay, Blood Throne. Is this the next chapter? It's the City of Darkness. No, it's still in the same chapter, so that was a mid-boss. All right, cool. An exorcist bow. Cool. It's purple. Let's see what that does. Venomous arrows hit enemies. Aw, I've gone with the wrong build. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing with this build. I can get a fire hydra? Why am I playing this weak build? There's a fire hydra in one of my builds? What? I can summon a fire hydra as a bowman? That's usually reserved for the magic classes. Why does a bow and arrow class have the ability to summon a fire hydra? I am in the wrong specialization, obviously. I'm gonna have to pick this game up again as a fire archer. I get fire hydras? That's nuts. Oh, a fury. Explosive arrow. Oh man, I could have gone with an explosive arrow league starter. Darn it. Instead I'm playing double shot. Lame. I'm gonna have to start another character already. All right, guys, time for a reroll. I found a cooler class. I guess the Sanctuary Warriors aren't bad or anything. The Barrage is cool, I guess, but I could have been summoning freaking fire hydras instead. Class envy is a real thing, man. Have you ever picked a class in a game and just went, nah, that sounds really cool, then you get to like level 10 or 20, especially in MMORPGs where it's really difficult to restart sometimes. I guess it's a little bit easier nowadays where you can just grind to level 80 in like a weekend because the game wants you to get to the end game content as soon as possible and get into raiding. But my point being, have you ever just started a class and get, yeah, that looks really cool, that looks like a lot of fun to be able to do, and then you unlock a few skills and then your buddies are, you know, playing that cool caster class that are summoning meteors out of the sky at level 10, and your dinky little rogue has to do a full combo to be able to do any of his damage. Have you ever had that class envy? I'm having that class envy for not going with a fire archer. I have guys with like sticks and I could have been summoning hydras instead. I'm not salty about it. I'll just reroll the class, it's fine. I want to know what the other classes do now. We'll have to check that out as soon as I'm done with this little run that I'm doing. We'll play for another 10-15 minutes, see how we're feeling about it. I think I have a pretty good idea of how I'm feeling about it overall. If you guys would like to go ahead and give it a try, again, I'll leave the Steam link in the description below. While you guys are down there in the description, there is also a link to our Discord server. I would love if you guys could go ahead and join the community. The Cardboard Cooperative could always use more cooks. After all, the more the merrier. I will also leave a playlist to the first bite if you guys are interested in checking out the style of content. I'm always trying to improve my craft and be able to do more of these. I am trying to introduce more interesting edits and stuff as well, so if you guys want to let me know how I can improve or things that you would like to see or games that you would like to recommend, please feel free to leave those in the comments down below as well. I try to read and reply to as many comments as possible. I do love being able to engage with the community. After all, it is one of the reasons I became a YouTuber, was to be able to build a community and get to meet some cool people. So if you guys have anything that you'd like to go ahead and recommend I try out, I'd be more than happy to be able to put it on the menu at some point. You know what else this reminds me of now that I think about it is a Muso game. This reminds me a little bit about playing a Muso game. You know, Dynasty Warriors, stuff like that, where you're just slaying hundreds of mobs without really thinking about it, and they tried to make it more interesting with things like weapon changing and being able to craft items so that you can decimate entire armies even more efficiently and kill millions of monsters at a time, or rather, well, I guess nowadays there's a whole bunch of different Muso style games. You know, Legend of Zelda, Fire Emblem has a Muso game. But my point being, the entire game is just about wiping out entire nations from the face of the earth as a single person, and this is what it's reminding me of, especially with all of this wackiness that's coming from shooting arrows and stuff. Of course, I haven't been able to use any sort of Muso abilities and ultimate abilities, but it's fine. We're not chaining together combos or anything, but we're definitely filling the screen with projectiles. We are definitely a one-man army out here against the forces of evil, and there is nothing wrong with that. How am I feeling about the game so far? So, recapping, I don't like the text. I'm not a huge fan of the font at this moment. I'm not a gigantic fan of the fact that my inventory filled up within 5 minutes of me picking everything up. I feel like as items become more frequent, the desirability of those items becomes a lot less. I mean, it's a basic supply and demand thing. Once your inventory starts filling up 16 times every 5 seconds, it stops being a game about the loot and more about managing your inventory, which I'm not a huge fan of. I don't mind that this game feels a lot faster paced and easier to play than a lot of other ARPGs. I personally have messed up my build already because I didn't go with a fire archer. So we're going to rectify that situation, and maybe I'll go ahead and play this game some more down the road. I'm having a good deal of fun with it, even though it is very mindless, like turn your brain off. But every now and again, you just need something to be able to mindlessly chew on, and this is a perfect game for that. If you are less of a fan of, you know, mindless grinding and just having this be something that you keep your hand on while you're watching a YouTube video or something, intent nudge nudge, then definitely don't check this one out. But if you do just want to burn away an afternoon and get to feel powerful while doing it, this is definitely something that you can enjoy. This is a demo version. The developer on the Steam page has said that they will not be making any more updates for the demo version, and will be waiting to release a whole lot of stuff, including 4 new classes, the final chapter. They're working on a lot of other implementations. It looks like Diablo has been here with these bone cages. Is this where he's been since he was banished from Diablo 4? Since he was banished from Lilith 4, actually. All right, the barracks. Another boss fight, looks like. We'll go ahead and clear this boss fight. Hopefully that'll be the end of chapter 1, and then we can go ahead and digest this first fight, or maybe we'll digest it as I am fighting whatever baddie is in here. But yeah, if you guys are fans of ARPGs and need something that's a lot less involved and much more focused on the single player aspect, if you like the solo self-bound portion of playing your ARPGs, then this one might be for you. If you are a fan of Muso games or Survivor style games, this might be right up your alley. Am I out of space? I'm not out of space. I have plenty of room in my inventory. I do have a lot of skill points, though. I should probably spend those. Let's go ahead and level up Barrage. Reload Rapid. Rapid reload, rather. Read that backwards. Let's go ahead and do that rapid reload so that I can... Why? Oh, whoops. Pressing 1. Trying to press 1 and pressing Q. I will have to check out all of the other classes at some point and see what they've got to offer. Why did I not pick... My inventory is full. Huh. Go back to... I can't use it in this area. I can't run away from boss fights. All right, guys, if you're going to do a boss fight, you have to commit. There is no portaling back to town in the midst of a boss fight. Although this feels less like a boss fight and more like a much larger bullet sponge, because it has not really done much damage to me. Cool. All right, let's go back to town. I should have gone to that treasure temple, or the treasure temple before I... The fortune temple before I killed the boss. It's fine. All right, so what are we doing now? We're still going with this act. This is the last area in this act, it looks like. All right, we'll go ahead and finish this dungeon, and then we'll call it on this particular gameplay. All right, merchants, let's sell everything that is... Let's go ahead and equip things that look good, and then we will... Whoa, what the heck did I just do? Spirit orbs. Attack interval of 1 to... Attack interval 1.4 seconds? Minus 0.4 seconds? I don't know what that means. Attack speed increase, health increase, all cool. Plague arrows useless. Companion attack speed. Attack speed plus 13%. 21 damage. Any cool effects? That's an explosive arrow. That's a plague arrow. That's Razor Arrow, has a chance to pierce. Call of the Brotherhood. Increase attack speed, mana, and physical penetration. Cool. That's an explosive arrow thing. Lethal Dart. Has a chance to generate a ricocheting dagger. All right, cool. Plague Arrow, Razor Arrow, Cluster Cannon, Razor Arrow, Razor Arrow, Flame Arrow. Does not seem like we found anything really great for our particular build at the moment. So let's go ahead and sell everything that is superior and below. Reorganize our bars here. Let's what? 189, 52 mana. Do I have sockets? I do. Let's go ahead and socket some stuff. Permanently increases melt. Oh. Wow, this game really is about... Oh, there's even a forgetfulness potion. Okay, this game really is about permanence and being able to play a single character all the way through. I do like that. I do not have any complaints about getting to play the game with a single character through and finding items that just let me reset my character build. That's pretty cool. I do like that. +1 skill points. We even find things that permanently increase our power. That's really cool. Summon a random challenge portal. What does that do? Trial grounds. Okay. Let's see. This gives me attack speed and a helmet. Oh, I need to unequip this stuff first before I'm allowed to. Physical damage and a bow. I am a physical damage character, so we'll do that. Let's take some shadow resistance and some poison resistance. Sounds good. Let's take some... What does armor do? Lightning resistance. Let's get some fire resistance in us. Resist can be very important. What does it do if I put this on gloves? Penetration. We'll put that into our physical penetration then. And we'll move forward with our game here. That's really cool. Oh, wait. That means I can specialize into a fire archer without having to worry about it. We will go ahead and do that later then. Let's see what these trial grounds are about, and maybe I get this permanent skill point as well. Level up my barrage one more time. That's really cool. That is one of the nice things about a solo player experience, is that you probably have to worry just a little bit less about overall balance when you're trying to make the players feel powerful, because you don't have to worry about anyone else being left behind in that regard. You can just give the player as much power as you want them to have. Sometimes that backfires and it becomes a little boring when you're able to wipe everything off the map. Sometimes it works in your favor when you really just want people to be able to blow away everything that they see on the screen, as I am doing now. But it is cool that there is permanent other upgrades besides leveling up. So just finding random potions that give you increased stats is really freaking cool. I love the fact that I can get extra skill points and everything. And that probably means that I can cross-pollinate my skills then, in that case, because I can just grab whatever I want as far as our skills go. We can just find an infinite amount of skill potions. It did not seem to suggest that there was a cap on how many skill potions we can consume, so maybe I can go ahead and go with that fire archer build after all without having to completely reset the character. I think after this challenge dungeon, though, I should be good on a first impression. The game is fun. Check it out if you like having something a little less stressful in your life. Avoid it if you feel like games that are a bit quick and easy and less intense, less thought intense. An arrogant bow, or it's not really up your alley. And also, if your eyesight is not the best, there is no way to be able to change the font or legibility or size of any of the text. So if you were having a hard time reading these affixes and items along with me, probably not a great idea for you to be checking this one out. But if you are a fan of the ARPG genre, of the survivor genre, of the Muso genre, this may be the type of thing that you're looking for, especially if you wanted some more permanence in your character builds and not just a roguelike experience. I will definitely be checking this one out again during its full release and maybe checking out the other classes to see how they go. You know, I feel a little cheated if I didn't get to finish this last dungeon, so let's walk through the last level here together, and then I'll go ahead and end the video there once we see what the final boss has to offer, if there's anything else going on that's different with the boss mechanics versus what we've seen up to this point. I kind of doubt that it is. If I'm going to be entirely honest, I'm not confident that there's going to be an entirely new thing that this boss is able to offer us outside of how larger health pool, considering the last two mini bosses haven't really done much of anything. I am liking the amount of effects and everything that's flying around the screen. I'm a sucker for big old particle effects and all. So also just the idea that the weapons give your skills more skills. So if you like skills on your skills, cool system. All right, I'm actually starting to take damage here, so I might have to pay attention just a little bit. Not like a lot, but enough that I'm not gonna die. Let's get some of these passive skills, I think. Or maybe Storm Barrage. Continuously shoot powerful penetrating arrows piercing through enemies. Master Marksman increases the amount of projectiles. Teleport to a target location and summon 6 whirlwinds. That sounds really cool. All right, let's do that. And open up our inventory and look at some of these items that we found. What is this arrogant bow? Explosive arrow! No, the game wants me to go into an explosive arrow build. Frostwalker's longbow. Plague arrow does stuff. Darn it. None of this stuff is cool for my character. Can I find a really cool thing for my character before I end this video? What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments below if I'm going to find a cool thing, or if the ARPG experience is going to be all about finding cool things for other classes. All right, the items are cool. I will give them that. The items are cool. I cannot deny that the itemization might be a really fun portion of this game, especially if it does the, I think it was Grim Dawn that did stuff like this, that very similar things where items could have skills on them as well, or modifiers to the skills that you have. I can't remember entirely how the Grim Dawn system worked with itemization, but I do remember having monster infrequents that would change up the way that you played, and you would want to you would want to go ahead and hunt down multiple beasties. How about we put this on the space bar? I'm gonna forget that even exists over there. All right, let's teleport to the target location and summon our whirlwinds. I know for a fact that I'm not going to find a cool bow before I call it quits on this recording, which is a little bit sad, honestly. It would be cool if I could find something to justify being a physical archer as opposed to fire or poison. Poison needle. Maybe I'll go ahead and reset my character now. Switch up to one of those other. Piercing elemental arrow or plague arrow has a chance to summon a demon claw. Dude, you sound sick. It sounds like there's so many cool things that I could be doing. Sounds like there's a lot of cool things that can happen with the build variety in this game. I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what the other classes can do now. I want to see what the melee class does and the necromancer class does. They are planning to introduce 4 more classes after all, so that's a lot of stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing what kind of items the higher level legendaries and epics, or the mythicals? What was the category called? Mythicals. I'm looking forward to seeing what mythical items offer, if the magic or the rare items and superior items are already introducing cool mechanics and multiplying these skills that I have on my skill bar by basically introducing a skill for each weapon or each skill. I get a sub skill for my skills. I love getting skills for my skills. What a cool system. I'm also having fun with the jewelry. The socketing? Socketing. That's the word I was looking for. I keep pressing Q. I mean to be pressing 1, but I keep pressing Q. It's okay. It's just a reflex at this point. I have been playing a lot of Diablo 4 in this last season. So it is just a reflex for me to press Q. Wait, a new bow. Giant crocodile bow. Surely that's a physical one. Crocodiles aren't known for anything except being really big physical things, right? Surely. Flame arrow? No! I've chosen the wrong build, guys. Pro tip, if you're gonna make a ranger, go with a flame ranger, go with the fire arrow stuff. Don't go with this boring barrage stuff. It doesn't get any cool stuff. It only gets boring barrage and fast attacking basic physical attacks. We don't get anything cool off of this. Check these coffins and see if we find anything. I'm very upset now. Very upset. All right, let's go this way. Surely the boss room is over here. Look at all these potions I've amassed too. I've completely forgotten about using potions outside of the boss fight where my MP doesn't quite recover fast enough for me to just keep spamming my skills. It's really cool that this Windwalker does get a teleport though. I wonder if the other classes get some sort of cool teleport or if it's just the Windwalker. I thought he was supposed to teleport to the next location. I guess not. I want faster cooldown reduction. I want to be able to spam my skills even more besides just my basic attack. All right, am I finally to the end of this dungeon? A witch doctor's charm. I haven't actually looked at any of the other things for a non-weapon. Increase movement speed, sure. Increased attack speed. Increase damage on that vortex pearl. Hope I should probably heal. I've just been standing there looking at my loot. A treasure guardian. Surely that increases my loot. Where is it? Vortex pearl. Wild claw. Increased attack speed. Shadow resistance, companion, attack speed, meh. Where was that item? I don't know. Essence extractor. There it is, treasure guardian. It is a paladin item. I lied. I don't get to equip it. All right, that looks like the boss room right over there on my right side. So let's go ahead and go through it. Armor. I want my bow, darn it. Show me a bow. Show me a cool bow. A thorn wind bow. It's in the name. It is in the name. Lethal dart generates a tornado. Boo hiss. Boo hiss indeed. Not cool at all. Fine. Fine, I'll go ahead and live with my loot. I've chosen this path. I've made my bed. Now I must lay in it. A torture chamber. Is the butcher about to pop out of me? Is this final boss for this chapter going to be the butcher? I mean, it could be. I don't know. I don't know how heavily inspired this is by Diablo. Resistance plus 10% all resistance. This is a big room for a boss room. They were tormenting a lot of people in here. A vampiric bow. I'm helpful at this point. Plague arrow. Nope. Abandon all hope, ye who enter with a Windwalker build. You will not find anything cool for your Windwalker. An Aegis arrow. Maybe that? Fire Hydra, of course. Of course it's about the Fire Hydra. I'm not salty, you're salty. Tranquilizer arrow. Frost Soul Potion. There's a lot of cool items in this game. Maybe it's not just about the equipment. If there are 100 million different ways for me to increase my character's power through potions and permanent stat upgrades, that would be cool too. A Metal Soul Potion. What does that do? It makes me more metal. It increases my physical damage by a little bit. I guess that's a little metal. Druid's Guardians. Necromancer item. The Necromancer, one of the Necromancer subclasses, the Druid. I'll have to check that out. Alright, seriously, how long is this chamber? I'm just gonna start skipping the enemies because I really want to see if this is the boss room or not. I didn't expect it to be an entirely another dungeon. Nothing's hurting me really, so I can just sprint on through. I'm not finding any equipment increases. I don't really need the... Have I leveled again? I have leveled 3 times. Uh-oh. That's not a good sign that I've completely forgotten that I'm even leveling. All damage has a chance to make enemies bleed. Sure, why not? I don't mind bleed builds. Obsidian arrow. A vitality increases my mana regeneration. Shouldn't the vitality shrine give me health regeneration instead? See if this chest has anything. A spinner. What about this one? Random challenges. I genuinely thought I would be done with this dungeon by now. An Enigma amulet. That sounds cool. Look at all those potions I just picked up. Sacrificial Hall. Seriously, this is still going. All right, this is boss fight music. Surely this is it. This is 100% boss fight music. Oh, there was even a flame wall that appeared behind me. This is it. No backing out now. What is the boss fight? Bloody Abomination Scully. Slocky? Slacky? Which one is the Bloody Abomination? They all look like Bloody Abomination. This guy? This ogre looking thing? This ogre looking thing who's not paying any attention to me since he's fighting my ads. Guys, it turns out I am the raid boss. I can just sit here and auto attack him. Fine. He's too busy killing my unkillable spirit summons. They are not taking any damage. I don't see them taking a single piece of damage. All right, that was it. Cool. Let's see if these last few chests drop me anything. And it does not seem like it. Okay, we're back to whatever this is. It's still going. Holy crap. Okay, back to the main city. All right, I thought that was... Oh, wait. No, we haven't unlocked this chapter yet. Really? Okay, this is much longer than I thought it was going to be, and there's still no story for this. All right, well, this has been a wonderful little first bite, as it were. I do enjoy the game. It is good to be able to turn my brain off and be able to enjoy it. Near the end there, though, I mean, it was nice for this last little bit of time, but I don't see myself until maybe the full release, or maybe it's because of this class, but I don't see myself playing this for much longer. I might come back and check out the other classes to see if they're any fun. If you guys would like a nice break from more intensive ARPGs, I can go ahead and recommend this one. Otherwise, if you are looking for a more involved experience, I think you can go ahead and pass on this one. There's nothing wrong with it. There's just a lot of work that needs to be done to be able to increase the overall interest of the game. That's going to be all for now. I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, this is Magna clocking out.